Welcome to PDIE, Purpose-Driven Innovation Ecosystem. Today we have Dr. Barry Kerzin. He's a personal physician of the Dalai Lama. He was called by the Dalai Lama in 1988. He was very passionate. He came from being a Western medical doctor, and the Dalai Lama wanted to learn a little bit about Western medicine. And then he actually stayed and extended his stay until he was ordained as a Tibetan monk. And today we want to speak a little bit about transformation of self and society, from ecosystems to ecosystems. How we can change our inner place of operating and our mindset in order to become better leaders and in order to get over all these overwhelming crises which we have in our modern world. So, Dr. Barry, welcome to Edge Off. Welcome to the Purpose-Driven Innovation Ecosystem. We are very happy to have you here, and I would like to speak to you a little bit about the transformation of self and society, and how meditation can be actually one of the triggers to help you find your inner place from which you can operate. Because in this modern world right now, we have several tremendous divides. We have a social divide, we have an ecological divide, we have climate change, and then we have a spiritual and cultural divide. So that how can this come to a new world by an inner transformation? Maybe it's a very complex question, but
we've lost our home.
Yeah.
So we need to find our way home. It's a simple answer to a complex question. And finding our way home, that's a discussion. Mindfulness is something key to that. And here I'm using mindfulness in two different ways. One is meditation, particularly focused or concentrated or shamatha meditation. And the other way mindfulness is used is to be in the present moment through that meditation, that kind of mindfulness. And then when we're in that present moment, to observe what's happening inside of us. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? What are our emotions? What's our mood? And then to learn ways to adjust the course when we're in not such a healthy space. And all that is coming home. There's another piece to that, which is compassion, which is love. And that's bi-directional, if you will. It's love for ourselves, learning how to be more kind and gentle and supportive of ourselves without going too far into arrogance. So making that balance between not putting ourselves down and not putting others down. Self-deprecation or inferiority complex, avoiding that. And avoiding being too arrogant, I'm better than others. Finding that healthy self-confidence. And then outwardly, compassion, love to everyone, recognizing that we're no different. On a deeper level, we're no different. I mean, it doesn't matter if we're Japanese or if we're white or we're black or we're yellow or we're red. It doesn't matter. We all have the same emotions. We want to be happy. We don't want to hurt. So recognizing that again and again and again, that we're all the same and wanting to be happy and not hurt, then we practice compassion and love that goes out to others also. So that's going home.
Yeah, so we need to find this place home, and if we look around, we can see leaders who absolutely don't seem to be home. And we can see systems and political phenomena where really this home is totally forgotten. So how could we, if we ourselves, we can find this home, how can we have an effect on these leaders or on these people to get them recognized that they are doing something?
Yeah, I think that please don't belittle the effect of each of us, starting with a smaller group, of course, working on finding the way home. Please don't belittle that effect that it will have on others and gradually on leaders also. So modeling is the first step. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I think, is education. So this is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in my lifetime, and maybe not in your lifetime to a large degree, Christian. But I think it has to happen through education also. So now in some countries, I work in Louisville. They tell me to drop it in the back of my throat.
What is that?
Louisville.
Uh-huh.
Some people would say Louisville.
Uh-huh.
It's Louisville.
Oh, okay.
That's how they pronounce it. In Kentucky.
Mm.
Yeah. The mayor, Greg Fisher, we've become very good friends. He's, with other people, instituted a Compassionate Schools project. And now they have over 30 schools where they're teaching young kids, kindergarten, first grade, 4, 5, 6, and up, how to find the way home. So simple things for the younger kids, 4, 5, 6. If a kid is acting out, what will happen is the teacher will say, Johnny, or Jill, or Checo, or Masa, please go to the board. And there's a big poster with many different faces expressing different emotions. Point to how you're feeling. The kid will do that. And then the teacher will say, now, go to the other poster, many different faces, and point to the emotion or the face you would like to be feeling now. The kid will point to a happy face. And so that's a way to begin this process. There are many other methods and techniques that are adapted for kids that are being done now in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's happening in many other cities across America, and some are in Europe, and about to happen in Japan. We work a lot with Human Values Institute. We work a lot with teachers. And so we're beginning to bring, because there's an interest, bring this kind of education into the school system. So I think that's the longer term approach to change leaders, change society.
Start with the younger generation. And this is exactly a short chat which I had upstairs with one of the founders of this Edge Off, Daniel Goldman, and he also has 2 kids. I also have 2 kids, and we are sometimes also asking ourselves how to get our kids we don't have to press them into something, but we have to show them how to find this inner place of home, that they don't take these electronic devices and just satisfy or fill in time by using these devices, but find something more creative.
So going back to the first of the 2 that I mentioned, one was role modeling, and the second was education. So to role model that as parents, you and Daniel Goldman, to role model that, do that yourself and expose the children to that. You know, have an open door policy if you're meditating, and allow them to come and sit quietly. And then you can have discussions with them about that. So I think that can be very powerful. Also influencing the relationship between father or mother and son or daughter.
So coming back to the beginning, you mentioned meditation and you mentioned compassion. And you are actually offering different kind of educational programs for teaching mindfulness, teaching meditation, and maybe also teaching compassion. Can you give some examples about what you have done? You mentioned already the mayor of the city in Louisville.
Louisville. Two syllables you drop in the back of your throat.
Yeah. And you don't
That's
do it
what they
only...
tell me.
Yeah.
The locals tell me. They say Louisville.
Louisville.
I practice it. Otherwise they wouldn't invite me back.
And here in Japan you have the Human Values Institute.
Yes.
And maybe you can talk a little bit about what you are doing with the Human Values Institute and also around the world in terms of meditation, compassion, and teaching leaders to find their inner home.
Human Values Institute is just that. We're trying to return home through recognizing human values. And compassion is a real major player there. Also honesty, integrity, patience or tolerance as opposed to getting angry. How to develop that without suppressing anger. Jealousy. How to learn to be appreciative rather than automatically becoming jealous and feeling threatened. Humility. How to navigate the waters towards humility rather than becoming arrogant. So that's those are some of the main pillars in Human Values Institute that we teach, that we try to model. I mean, none of us are perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. But we try to model that, we try to teach that, we try to engage people with that discussion, and then do meditation around that. We work in prisons. They don't call them prisons, they call them training centers for juveniles. We're doing a lot of work with teachers, as I've mentioned, at the level of high school and also university, particularly Sacred Heart University. We're doing a lot of work, as you know, in the healthcare field. I'm a medical doctor, I'm a physician. So we do a lot of work with nurses and doctors, have been and continue to do that, in medical schools, in hospitals. We do meditation retreats, as you've mentioned, and we try to go away to beautiful places so people can, like this beautiful place, just automatically, kind of settle the mind, and then we try to go deeper with that. We do programs for meditation in beautiful natural places like Fujisan, Nagano, Shimane, Hokkaido, in Kyushu, particularly Shikanoshima and other places. Business leaders, such as yourself, and groups that you have brought.
What would be a kind of an ideal outcome for a business leader or somebody who actually participated in some of your retreats? Would he develop some new ideas, or he would be undergoing a transformational process and then change his leadership styles and might actually help to the society and his organization to go from this ego system to the ecosystem approach, where he doesn't anymore only think about his own position, but he thinks more about the collective?
Yes, I think the latter, a style change, a leadership style change, thinking about the group more than just herself or himself. And that's finding the home, it's the same stuff. Learning how to be quiet, be more still, be reflective, introspective. Those qualities help the individual leader, herself, himself, help their family, relationships in the family, relationships within the company, help set up a model, role model, which begins to develop a shift in culture for the company. We see that happening in some companies in Silicon Valley, to some degree. Maybe more is necessary, but at least they're beginning to do that. Yeah. I do a lot of work at Google. So here with Human Values Institute in Japan, we've had several sessions over time with Google employees. In, I think it was April, I was working with Google, DeepMind Google in London, and we were addressing some of these issues, and there was a tremendous receptivity to this notion of coming home, working on their own stuff as leaders, and then shifting the culture in the company as a result of that. There are other examples. For example, I should mention the name actually because we're just in the stages of setting things up.
Yeah.
But it's a huge Japanese company. Still family owned. And they have a tremendous commitment to ethics, honesty, and values of compassion that they try to imbue with their employees. Once we get that set up, we can talk more about specifics. There are other companies also. Those are just a couple examples.
That would be great, and I think that Japan as a country and Japan with the deep culture, they can actually play a vital role in having some influence on the rest of the world. So if we can work a little bit together on these kind of things and go into some more Japanese corporations and help them to shift towards this direction, then this would be a great thing to do together.
I 100% agree with you on that. The Japanese have some very special characteristics, and with a little bit of guidance, I think can really make a difference on the global level, setting examples from their rich heritage and culture.
Good. One more thing, you mentioned the human values, and we have this tremendous exponential technology. We have this rapid development of so many technologies like AI, quantum physics, and there's a lot for us humans. It might be almost overwhelming, but if we set the human values right in the beginning, we might not do fatal mistakes. What do you think about how narrow this path is we would be wandering on?
Yeah, I think we're on a real sharp precipice here. We have to be extremely careful. Having said that, I think there's receptivity in parts of the industry. I mentioned DeepMind Google in London. They're one of the pace setters. They're on the front. And they were very interested in hearing about altruistic algorithms for generalizable artificial intelligence. How can you build into the programs a sense of right and wrong based on no harm? How far they're going to take this, we don't know. There seems to be receptivity. I think we have to have many more of these discussions. Scientists, philosophers, psychologists, public.
Yeah, that's one of the big tasks is ahead of us. So thank you very much for coming right away from the airport today and answering a few questions. And if you want to have some final message about your program of Human Values Institute here in Japan, why don't you just say it right now?
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me and us, Human Values Institute. Human Values Institute is about 10 years old. We are a Shonan Hojin here in Japan. We're all volunteers, except for a few very part-time people that are employed. We have a great group of people who have stayed with us, most of them for 10 years. We work in education, in healthcare, in correctional institutions, prison system. We do lots of meditation retreats. We work more and more with business leaders and companies. Mitsubishi Jishu. We've worked with Google Japan, as I mentioned. Working with some of the large Kampo pharmaceutical companies. We work a lot with Unilever Japan. So we're doing a lot of work, and there's a tremendous interest among many business people to do this kind of work. We don't advertise much. It's kind of word of mouth. You know that.
Yes.
We feel that we're doing a good job, that we're honest, that we have integrity, and people listen to us. and the word spreads.
I hope that today is the start of some new chapter, maybe, that here with Edge Off and with an innovative community of people, we can do some great things together.
Wonderful. Please excuse my coughing. Getting a little
No
cold.
problem at all. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kerzin.